Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, May the 28th, 2020. John Hiley, a pastor with Grace Lutheran Church in Fairmont, Minnesota, here to bring a word of encouragement. We know the news of the world. There's lots to pray about today. Protests in Minneapolis, a virus that is spreading around our country and around the globe, people concerned about livelihood and jobs. And into this space, I want to invite you to think about something that Paul said to the early church in a town called Ephesus. And Paul was encouraging these people to think about how they responded to other people. And I really think this is great advice for us as church today. How do we respond to other people? People we might disagree with, people we might look at and not understand their point of view. And Paul has some great words for us today. This is in chapter 4 of Ephesians. Paul says, "Put away all bitterness and wrath and anger and wrangling and slander, together with all malice. And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ has forgiven you." Wow. Put away all anger, bitterness, wrath, wrangling, slander, and all malice. What would that look like if we did that in our world today? Sometimes I think the question is, who's going to do it first? Who will put down the angry words first? Who will stop using that way of conversation? Who will instead choose to look for a way to be constructive? So today, with the reality of controversy and uncertainty in our world, Paul is inviting us to stand on something completely different, to stand on Christ, to stand on Jesus who has forgiven us, to stand on Jesus who calls us to be his body here and now in the world. So I don't know the challenges that you're facing today, but in the middle of them, Paul is going to say, hey, put away everything that isn't of God. Put away everything that's going to distract and pull us away. I'm going to read these same words from the New Living Translation. Paul says, "Stop being mean, bad-tempered, and angry. Quarreling, harsh words, and dislike of others should have no place in your lives. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God has forgiven you because you belong to Christ." So today you are invited into this world as a forgiven believer. You are invited into this world to be a messenger who shares this same word of resurrection forgiveness. It started with the cross, it happened through an empty tomb on Easter morning, and it spreads for all the world. And it's our mission as church today to share this same promise. In Christ there is new life. In Christ the old sins are forgiven. We have a brand new way of life. So I encourage you today, whatever your story, wherever you're going, please keep praying. Pray for wisdom in your spirit. Pray for leaders around the world discerning what is the next step. Pray for churches around the world, trying to understand how it is that we are called to be open to share the gospel with our neighbors while at the same time helping to stop the spread of a pandemic that is still spreading in our nation and around the world. I encourage you, please keep praying too. Pray for leaders. Pray for those who've lost jobs. Pray for those who know grief these days. Pray for medical workers as their jobs continue. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Keep believing. I'll see you again tomorrow. Many blessings.